Good morning, children. Today, myself Sundar Singh. I am going to teach for ninth class a new chapter, language of chemistry. As we are very much aware about that, chemistry is basically study of elements and compounds. And if you see that we are having around more than 5 million compounds all around in the world, which we are studying. But basically, problem is that large number of compounds are there. How we will be studying them, and other things related to are there, which we need to understand. So, as we all know, alchemists were the first people who generally having some knowledge about these elements, and they have given pictorial graphic symbols for these elements to understand them. John Dalton has also given certain symbols like circle for oxygen, circle and a dot for hydrogen. Later on, when the study of chemistry started developing, John Berzelius given suggested some point that every element's first alphabet in capital should be taken as a symbol. So from there, all the symbols of the elements started developing up. Now these symbols, with the help of these symbols, we can understand and study these elements very easily. If you see here in this, we are having certain symbols given for the elements, like hydrogen is represented by capital H, nitrogen by N, oxygen by O, fluorine F, chlorine by Cl, and rest. Now if an element, one element is there, its first letter is being taken, but later on it was found that there are large number of other elements whose first alphabet is similar. For example, here carbon, cobalt, copper are there. They all start with capital C. So we cannot give capital C to all these elements. So what was decided, not only the first, the second element or second alphabet or the third alphabet may be taken as a symbol for the element. So later on, like in this list, you can see there are large number of elements whose symbols are represented by two alphabets. Like magnesium, we are having Mg. So the first letter will be capital and the second letter will be written in small. So you need to learn all these symbols of the elements. Now, while we are giving symbols, we came across that there are certain elements whose symbols are not matching with their English name. For example, gold or silver or mercury and other elements are there as given in this list. Their first alphabet is G, S, M as given, but their symbols are for gold AU, silver AG, mercury HG, and so on. Why this difference is there? It is basically the Latin names were there, which were accepted by IUPAC or IUPAC, which is the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So after John Berzelius, this IUPAC has given certain suggestions which was followed, and now we are studying chemicals and its symbols by this form. So ultimately, element symbol, what it means, it's a short form, stands for an atom of that element. Now let us go for another. What is the significance of an symbols? If we see as given in the topic, it represents the name of the element, and if H is there, it means one atom of hydrogen. It also tells about the quantity or mass present in this element. For example, N stands for nitrogen. It means one atom of nitrogen, and it means 14 grams of nitrogen mass which is present in it. So it tells a lot of things about an element. Sometimes there are words, formulas written like H2, CO2, or O2, and all that. What, how they are different from here? Basically, H2 we cannot talk as an atom. It is a molecule. It is a molecule. H, if H is written, I'll say one atom of hydrogen. If H2 is there, I'll say one molecule of hydrogen. The second topic which we will be studying is about valency. Are you understanding, children? If you are not getting it, you can repeat the same topic again and again and just go through it. Now, second topic which we are starting is a valency. Valency is having a lot of different definitions. First definition which we are coming across is combining capacity of an element or a radical, or it may be sometime charge on a radical. The valency of an element or the radical is the number of hydrogen atom that will combine with or displace one atom of that element or radical. Since no other element have combining capacity less than that of hydrogen, so sometimes hydrogen is being taken as a standard. How many hydrogen atoms can combine with an atom? That number of hydrogen is telling the valency. For example, in ammonia, we are having NH3. If in ammonia, I'll say there are NH3, three hydrogens are there. So nitrogen's valency is 3 in that. So there are modern definition also. Number of electrons also, loss, gain or shared. We know that when atoms are combining with one another, either they lose electron, gain electron, or they are sharing electron among themselves. How many numbers of electrons an atom can lose, gain or share during a chemical reaction is also a definition for valency. Elements with 1, 2 or 3 electrons in the outermost shell, we call them as metals, and those elements which are having 1, 2 or 3 electrons in their outermost shell, we call them metals. So these metals have a tendency to lose electrons. So how many electrons they are going to lose will be their valency. For example, if I take sodium, sodium is having 1 electron in the outermost shell. If it loses 1, it forms a univalent ion, a cation. And so it loses 1 electron, so its valency will be 1. Similarly, magnesium is going to lose 2 electron because it is outermost shell, it contains 2 electrons. So 2, 8, 2. So 2 it is going to lose to again what? Acquire a noble gas configuration 2, 8. So it gets a charge also over there. So we call it divalent because it is having +2 charge. Then we are having aluminium which loses 3 electrons. So trivalent. So valency of sodium ultimately is 1, magnesium is 2, aluminium is 3, because it depends upon number of electrons which it is losing. As we studied earlier also, that the number of electron which an atom is generally losing, we define those elements as metals also, those who are losing the electrons. Similarly, we come across some another elements which we call non-metals. They are generally having electrons 4, 5, 6 or 7 in their outermost shells. But those elements which are having 5, 6 or 7 electrons, whenever they are combining or forming compound, they tend to gain electrons depending upon their number of electrons. For example, 5 is there. If 5 electrons are there, they need to acquire octet. 8 electrons should be there in the outermost shell for an element to be stable. अब वो element क्या करेगा? It will try to gain 3 electron in it. So there's a gain of 3 electron coming for those elements which are having 5 electron in the outermost shell. 5 plus 3 will become 8. So they have acquired their noble gas electronic configuration. So like this way it is going on. If 6 is there, it will gain 2 electrons. If 7 electrons are there in the outermost shell, they require 1 electron. As in this case, chlorine is there. We are having 2, 8, 7. So to complete its octet, it requires 1 electron. So plus 1 electron. So valency of chlorine will be 1. Similarly, if we take about oxygen, it is having 2, 6. So 6 electron in the outermost shell, required is 8. So it will gain 2 electron. And nitrogen is 2, 5. To become 8, it requires 3 electrons. So plus 3 electrons, it is gaining 3 electrons. So its valency will be 3. Now, when they are gaining electron, they get negatively charged. So such ions which are having negative charge on them, we call them anions. Now, there are certain elements which are during course of combining with other element share the electrons. For example, chlorine is there, and chlorine when combining with hydrogen. So chlorine, as here we require 1 electron which it is gaining from hydrogen. So here the valency of chlorine is 1. In similar case, if it see oxygen, oxygen does not lose or gain electron and it is combining with hydrogen. It is only sharing. Oxygen, as here, require 2 electron. So each hydrogen is giving 1 electron to oxygen. And oxygen's octet is complete here. So I'll say the valency of oxygen as compared to hydrogen is 2. As evident from earlier example I told about ammonia, nitrogen is there. and nitrogen contains 5 electron in the outermost shell, requires 3 electron. So it is combining with 3 hydrogen. Each hydrogen is providing or sharing 1 electron to nitrogen. So ultimately what coming up is that valency is the number of electrons which an element or an atom can lose, gain or share. So this is all about valencies. Now there are certain cases where we had seen that an element is showing variable valency, means 2 valencies, 3 valencies. So in that case the valency will we call it as variable valency. Now why this variable valency is coming? The variable valency is basically coming in those elements which is heavy elements, like we are having iron, copper, mercury, lead, tin. These elements, what is happening in them, not only the outermost shell electrons are participating, but as per definition here what it says, atoms loses electrons from their penultimate shell also, second last shell also. Not only losing electron from the last shell but the second last shell also. So because of the electrons losing from two shells, outer shells, so they are showing two valencies over there. Now how to give name in that case? If an element is showing two valencies, for example here we are having a case of iron. So they had given for valency 2, they had given a word ferrous, and for valency 3 they had given a name ferric. So FeRr is common in both of them. So in the valency element where the lower valency is there, we add a word OUS, and the one which is having higher valency, we are adding a word ic with them. So ferrous, ferric. Or what we can do, if we are writing their name, we can in a bracket write the Roman numbers to represent the valency. Iron 2 oxide showing for valency 2, and iron 3 oxide is showing the valency 3, and other examples are given as such. Okay then,